When I started my business, everything was just me. I was doing all the work. Then I realized that I was too busy. So I ran into a problem where I had more money than I had time. That was the switch to tell me it's time to hire people. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about my experience hiring virtual assistants, how to hire them, how to find good ones, how to retain them, how to lead them, and also how to hire part-time people in person. So firstly, why need to hire, right? I heard this quote: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you need a team. And that's definitely true, because if I did not hire anyone, I just did everything myself, I would literally be working 24/7. Like, I would just not have enough hours in a day to work. That's why you definitely need to hire people. As a small business, right, hiring virtual assistants part-time is very good, because we don't have the big budget to risk hiring a full-time person. And you know what, if they're not good and then they leave, then it's a lot of money wasted, right? We can't afford that, but we can afford paying part-time. And also, it is cheaper to hire virtual assistants from overseas rather than part-time people in our country, in Singapore, because the cost of living is cheaper elsewhere. So it's actually a win-win situation. And personally, the location of assistants that I prefer to hire from is Philippines, for two main reasons. One is the time zone is pretty much identical to Singapore. I have read in the 4-hour work week how Tim Ferriss recommends hiring virtual assistants that are different time zone, so that while you're sleeping, they are doing work. It sounds good on paper, but in my experience, it's not that great, because I prefer to have high communication in real time with my virtual assistants, because I like things moving very fast. The second reason is communication, because communication is so important with virtual assistants, especially because they aren't even in the same room as you. So accents do matter in communicating as well, because if I can't understand that person's accent, then it makes it just much harder to communicate. Okay, next, how to find good virtual assistants. It's so easy to be a virtual assistant. You just apply for the platform and then you can start working. So here's how to choose, and here's how I've been able to find good people. So firstly is, which platform are you going to use? I use Upwork. I've heard of Fiverr as well. I think Fiverr is even more prominent. So just find those which are reputable platforms which attract a lot of talent. Next, how to write the job post, because your job post is really what will then determine what good quality of applicants you attract. And I've learned that the hard way. So in the past, my job posts were roughly written. They weren't very attractive or appealing. The price I was offering was also quite low, and you kind of get what you pay for, because if you go too low, you just keep getting poor quality applicants. And if you go too high, there are people who honestly aren't worth that, but they will still apply anyway. So for writing the job post, I read a few books on hiring, and I watched tons of YouTube videos on how to hire and the hiring process, how to attract top talent. And I realized that, wow, my job posts really suck. And they did in the past. So I'm just using an old job post. The title is very clear what I need. I also put this because I find the right kind of person that I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who wants to stay with me long term. I give them that promise at the start in the title, and they're like, oh yes, I don't want just these short-term projects. These are the first 3 lines, and this is pretty much the secret to unlocking a lot of the good applicants I've attracted. It's just these 3 lines. Here is the role already, and then here is why they would be attracted. And then that does meaningful work. The picture this part lets them put themselves as if they are already going to work here. And this is the essence of what we need to do throughout the whole post, to make them imagine themselves working already in this job. Also, it's not mundane. Like most job posts, they just list the requirements. Like, it's so lame and so boring to read. But this one, it catches people's attention. Okay, then here, but you're lost in a sea of job posts. Which to choose? So now they're like, wow, finally some employer gets me. They understand the feeling of me trying to apply for a job. Then I know your time is precious, so here's a video of me explaining why this could be your dream freelance opportunity. They want to know that this is not a waste of their time. They want to know that I know I can do the job well, because I know what it's going to be like. So this video, I recorded it, I scripted it a bit. So it was a significant investment of effort as well. In here, I went through how the role will be like, what the tasks they will need to do, why work for me, right? What our company is about, and at the end, how to apply. And notice I start with the benefits in here, right? Because that's what people want. We're all self-interested, we're all selfish. We want to know what's in it for me, right? Why should I work here? Other than talking about the benefits, use the word you a lot. And it's all about, you will love this position if. So instead of saying that, oh, you know, this is what I need, you say, you will love this if you are blah, blah, blah. So as you can see, my job post is quite high effort. Definitely much higher effort than the competition, right? The competing job post. And my Loom video as well, it was quite high effort. This communicates to the potential freelancer that this is legit, this company is legit. Your job post is the ceiling, is the cap for how high of a talent you can attract. If you give very high level, then you can finally get the better quality talent. Okay, so how to get them to apply is that I don't allow people to just send in an email or a proposal by text. They need to send a Loom video, which is the one that I made just now. I usually have some guiding questions of what I want to know. The point of the Loom video is that it weeds out a lot of people, because most people, they don't even read your job post. So I don't like that kind of people, and when they don't send a Loom video, I instantly know that they didn't read it. They didn't read the instructions. Then I can tell, oh, this person doesn't follow instructions. And then when I finally open the Loom and watch it, there's so many things that I learn about the person. Like, I can see if they're using a good mic. Even if they don't have an expensive mic, doesn't matter. You can always find something to make the audio sound as good as you can, right? Then there are people with very bad lighting, and you can't even see their face. The Loom video, the final video, once they put it up, the title of the video is automatically generated. It's usually not a very nice title. So those who actually change the title to something nice, I can tell that, okay, they actually noticed that and they put effort into the title as well. From the Loom video, I can also see how they talk. I can see their communication skill level, their English skill level. So that's why I get them to send a Loom, because of all these reasons. But even then, right, I have gotten so many Loom videos that I didn't know who to choose. Then I need a way to know how to assess beyond just the Loom video. So I give them a trial task. Intelligence and skill is super important, especially skills that are required for that role. What's important to me? They have a decent level of intelligence. They can spot mistakes that I make. They are conscientious. They're detail-oriented. They pay attention to the small stuff. If a person can do that, usually they have all the other good traits also. Trial task, I devised it. I put a Word document, a Google Doc, and even a Loom video explaining how to do the trial task. In my spreadsheet, right, it's a dummy spreadsheet. And I put mistakes. That is hard to spot. There are many chances for them to make mistakes or to not spot mistakes. And then I get them to send me back their final result, plus how long did they take to do it. So what matters more is getting it right than the speed. But if let's say someone gets it right, but they took like 3 hours when it could be done in 45 minutes, then okay, I know there's something wrong with efficiency on that person already. So I heard this quote from Brian Tracy in one of his books on hiring and firing. He says, well begun is half done. So when a person starts well, that's already half the indication that they're going to be good at that job. And so that's why this trial task. So if they do it well, then I know that, okay, they're good. And I would now interview them. I want to feel the vibe between us. And then third, we'll then give them a trial contract for 1 to 2 weeks. I pay them the rate that we discussed also. I will just let them do a lot of tasks that they would be doing in the actual role. Overall, here's advice based on my experience. Just be very, very strict. Just have super high standards. So when you finally get that person that you can depend on, it just feels so good. Okay, and finally, how to lead them well. So let's say you've done the trial contract with this person for 1 or 2 weeks. Please look for coachability. When I give them feedback, do they change? Do they actually not make the mistake next time? If they keep making the same mistake, I know that this person is not coachable. Find someone who's coachable. Then I'll give them the long-term contract after that. Okay, and here's how to keep them. The first one is praise instead of criticize. I'm intentionally trying to add more praise. Of like, okay, this is pretty good overall. Here's the changes. Then I give all the feedback, the criticisms, right? Praise really is the answer, not criticism. Okay, and the next thing is to use a project management software for my assistants and me to keep them accountable of the deadlines and to easily give them comments. I use Asana. It's basically a massive to-do list for all my assistants or all the projects, right, that I need to get done. So for example, see this, like we have this video that I instructed how to make. So I put it here with a Loom video of me talking about how I want it to be done. And then I uploaded this Word document that is relevant for all the stuff. So it's all in one place, right? I assign to whoever, and then I put the due date of when it's due. So I have all my social media and video editing projects and tasks in here. Then I have even those in future which I want to do. I can't possibly remember all of them. But by putting them here, everyone can see the due date, everyone can see the progress. So yeah, just use Asana. It's a massive to-do list and it helps a lot. And last thing about leading them well is to have regular check-ins with them. By having regular meetings with them, then they feel like, okay, actually my boss knows me and cares about me. It's a good opportunity to give them praise and feedback of what they need to do better, and also gives you the opportunity to get ideas from them. Okay, in this next section, it's about how to hire a part-time in-person assistant. Reason for that is that there are a lot of tasks that my virtual assistants can't do, like any admin things that require my phone, physically, logging into stuff on my phone. Mailing gifts to students, I mail stuff to students. Again, virtual assistants can't do that. That's why I really needed a part-time in-person assistant. In my experience, the best target group is poly or university students. Okay, JC students are too busy. The rate that they demand will not be so high as a graduate, which is why I think the best pool of students is poly and uni students. Okay, so how do you write a job post that attracts these people? It's actually all the same tactics that I've already said for the Upwork job post. So just use those tactics. Okay, and then how to assess them? It's also all the same tactics. So just go back and watch those. It's all the same tactics, except one thing. I noticed that I got a lot less applicants applying and sending in a Loom video. And I was like, why? Well, the answer is because they don't care about it enough. They don't want it enough. They don't want it badly enough. I noticed that in Singapore, I think it was hard to find anyone who would send a Loom video like that. I had to lower the barrier to entry and make it easier for them to apply. So instead of that, I got them to send to my WhatsApp 3 voice messages answering certain questions. And through that, I could tell a lot of things about the person. I could tell how they speak. Are they professional? When they send me the messages, is it sent in an organized and professional way? Did they even prepare for it at all? So that helps me assess people a lot. Then I would interview them in person. And yes, usually in these interviews, since I can meet them in person, I would buy coffee for them. And I would talk for quite long, like really long, 2 hours, because I want to understand them as a person and I want to know them as a person. This builds a lot of trust. And after this, I will then set up a trial day where they can come for 1 day and work for me. And then if the person is competent, then I hire them. So once again, just want to remind you that the base level of intelligence is often correlated to the competency, and that's why I look out for in my in-person assistants as well. So which platforms are the best, right, for hiring in-person assistants in Singapore? I would say for students, poly and uni students, right? The answer is Telegram. Many students are on those and looking for jobs on those. So Telegram works. Indeed.com is also very good. Okay, I'll leave you one more piece of advice to know whether this person is good or not. Just ask yourself, after they've come into your life, they've hired them, is your life better? Is everything better? So when your life gets better, after they come into your life, it's proof that this is the right person. So that's all I have. I just wanted to let all this come out because I know it will help someone else out there. I know it will help you. If you are overwhelmed and you're trying to delegate work, it's definitely worth it, I can say, for sure. It's definitely worth it. So if this video was helpful to you, then subscribe and I'll see you next time.